stop scrolling. Because what happened to me last week still feels unreal. I found a hidden camera inside my bedroom, and at first I thought it was some kind of mistake. Maybe a security device. Maybe something left by the previous tenant. But after what I discovered on the footage, I realized something much worse. Someone had been watching me for months. I moved into this apartment about 6 months ago. It was small, but cheap, and the landlord seemed normal enough. Quiet guy, probably in his late 40s. He showed me the apartment. We signed the lease. Everything felt completely normal. For the first few months, nothing strange happened. No weird noises, no missing things, no reason to be suspicious. Until last night. I was cleaning my room around midnight, just organizing some books on the shelf. That's when I noticed something strange. A tiny black circle on the corner of the bookshelf. At first I thought it was a screw, but when I looked closer, I realized it was a small camera lens. And in that moment, my entire body went cold. The moment I realized it was a camera, I felt my heart start racing. I stood there for a few seconds just staring at it, trying to convince myself I was wrong. Maybe it was part of the shelf. Maybe it was some kind of sensor. But deep down, I already knew. So I grabbed a chair and climbed up. My hands were shaking when I touched it. The moment I moved it slightly, a tiny red light turned on. Recording. That was the moment the panic hit me. Someone had been watching my room, watching me sleep, watching me change, watching everything. I quickly unplugged the device from the wall. It was connected through a tiny cable that ran behind the shelf. When I pulled it out, I noticed something inside, a micro SD card. My heart dropped again. That meant everything was recorded, every moment, every night. I rushed to my laptop and inserted the card. For a second I hesitated, because I wasn't sure I wanted to see what was on it. But curiosity won. The folder opened, and my stomach twisted. There were dozens of videos. Some were only a few minutes long, others lasted hours. The file names were dates. I clicked one from 2 weeks ago. The video showed my bedroom. Nothing unusual. Just my room, my bed, my desk, my window, and then me walking into the frame, completely unaware that I was being recorded. I watched myself sit down on my bed, scrolling through my phone. Completely normal. Completely exposed. I immediately closed the video. My hands were shaking too much. But something caught my attention. One of the files was much longer than the others, almost 3 hours. And the timestamp said it was recorded yesterday. So I opened it. The video started normally. My room was empty. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. Then suddenly, the door opened. Very slowly. Someone stepped inside. And when the person walked into the camera view, my heart stopped. It was my landlord. For a moment I thought maybe he was just checking the apartment. Maybe there was some kind of emergency. But the way he moved, it didn't look normal. He walked directly to the shelf, exactly where the camera was. Then he looked straight into the lens, like he knew it was there, like he had placed it himself. My stomach turned. But what happened next made things even worse. He didn't leave. Instead, he walked around my room, opening drawers, checking my desk, looking through my things, like he was searching for something. Then he suddenly stopped and looked toward my bed. The camera angle showed him standing there for several seconds, just staring at the place where I sleep. Then he slowly smiled and turned off the light. The video ended. I felt sick. This wasn't just spying. This was something much more disturbing. And that's when I remembered something. My landlord had a master key, which meant he could enter my apartment whenever he wanted, at any time, without me knowing. I immediately grabbed my phone and called the police. While I waited for them to arrive, I kept watching the footage. And that's when I noticed something strange. Some of the recordings happened when I wasn't home, but the camera was still running, recording the empty room. At first it seemed pointless, until one video showed something terrifying. The door opened again. My landlord walked inside. But this time, he wasn't alone. 2 other men entered the room with him. They started looking through everything. My closet, my desk, even my laptop. Like they were searching for something specific. Then one of them said something that made my blood run cold. He looked at my landlord and said, "Did she notice the other cameras yet?" Other cameras, plural. My heart started pounding again. Because that meant one thing. The camera I found was only the beginning. And suddenly, I realized something horrifying. If there were more cameras in my apartment, someone could still be watching me. Right now.